Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are continuing our short lecture series on persuasive public speaking, and we are particularly talking about the organizational pattern called Monroes motivated sequence. So Monroes motivated sequence is an organizational pattern that is unique to persuasive speaking. It won't work in any other type of speech. So it wouldn't work for informative, it won't work for commemorative, it can only be used for a persuasive speech. The reason behind that is that the way it's designed is that it's designed to be effectively and purposefully used only for persuasive speaking. So if you were to try to use this organizational pattern for a informative speech, you would end up with a persuasive speech. No matter what you do, if you use this organizational pattern, it is persuasive. Now, this is different from a lot of other organizational patterns because you could alter them. They could work for an informative or a persuasive or a commemorative. This one is unique in that it can only be used for persuasive speaking. It's also unique because Monroe, the person who came up with this sequence, felt so strongly that the sequence worked that they would say that you could convince somebody or persuade somebody of almost anything if you could get them to go through these 5 steps in this exact order. Now, it's not quite that effective, but it is a very effective organizational pattern in order to persuade your audience. It highlights a problem and a solution. It really brings in a lot of pathos, and it gives you a really great opportunity to really persuade your audience to do something or to think differently about something. It's going to look a little bit different, but when we really break it down, effectively, it's the same. There's an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. But they have different titles and a little bit of a different purpose. So our first step is the attention step. The attention step is where we bring attention to our topic. If you think about it and you just make that connection, attention step, attention grabber, my attention grabber is in my introduction. So therefore, when you see attention step, think of introduction. This attention step should have your attention grabber, your thesis, and your preview. So again, the attention step, this is just your introduction. And that gets us to what we might call our first main point, but really it's our need step. So the need step of this organizational pattern tells our audience why we need to do something about your topic, why we need to do what you're asking. What is the problem? What are the harms? What is being caused by your topic? Why do we need to do something about it? This is really, really important because you're ultimately making an argument. You're saying, look, here's a problem. We need to do something about it. And here's why you should listen to what I have to say and get on board with what I have to say. This is going to require some outside material, some support, some backing. You're going to have to really build this argument so that if you say to me, this needs to be done, then I can say, okay, great. Now what do I do about it? And I'm on board with the fact that something needs to be done. Now you need to tell me what I can do to satisfy that need. This is your satisfaction step. This is where you tell your audience, how do we satisfy that need? How do we solve the problem? So at this point, hopefully we know what you're talking about. We have agreed that there is a problem, right? You've answered that question of what is the problem. Now you're answering the question of what should we do about it? What can we do about it? So how do you satisfy that need? How do you solve the problem? This is again where you're going to have some research probably to support and say, look, here are some possible solutions to this problem. But what I would like for you to do is this. And you can really focus in on one particular solution, or you can leave it open. You can say, we haven't figured out how to solve this problem yet, but here are some potential solutions, and here's some research to support that those things will actually help to solve this problem. So in your attention step, you have your introduction, you have your attention grabber, your thesis, your preview. Need step, you're making an argument about why something needs to be done, that there is a problem. Your satisfaction step, you are telling us how to satisfy the need or how to effectively solve or start to solve the problem addressed in your need step. And this gets us to the visualization step. The visualization step is where you're going to literally ask your audience to visualize, to imagine what the world would look like after this need has been satisfied, after the problem has been solved. So what does it look like when everybody has access to clean water? What does it look like when everybody has access to food? What does it look like when everybody has access to technology? Whatever your topic is, you are asking your audience to shape and mold a perception of a potential reality. If you think back to when we talked about language, this is where you really have an opportunity. You can get your audience to alter the way that they are perceiving and experiencing reality, and ultimately turn this vision into a actual reality, because you're saying, if we do these things in the satisfaction step, we meet that need addressed in the need step, we can create this world. And what an amazing place that would be. Whatever it is, however it relates to your topic, Monroe's motivated sequence gives you an opportunity to help craft a different perception of reality for your audience. Now, this step is really, really important, but it's often kind of glanced over because it's different. We're not focusing so much on information or on logos. We're going to be focusing a lot on pathos, on emotion, on engaging your audience in a way that gets them to not only want to create that imaginary world, but to actually want to see that enacted in your day-to-day life. And that can go a really, really long way, because now your audience has a goal. They can see it, right? It's a nice place. They like that. Hopefully, they want to see that. And our final step here is going to be the action step. Now, our action step is our conclusion. This is where you're going to review your main ideas. So review your need step, your satisfaction step, your visualization step. You're going to restate your thesis, and you're going to end with an intriguing call to action with some kind of very clear, here's what I want you to do. And that should link to one of your satisfaction ideas, one of your solutions. Say, I want you all to do this. Or if you're going for more of an objective to convince, say, the next time you interact with this idea, think about it differently. This is what the world could look like if we all did this. If we all changed the way we're thinking, if we all changed the way we're acting, this is how the world could be. And what a great place that is. So with your action step, you need to have a very clear, concise call to action, whether that's cognitive to convince or to actuate or action. So quickly to recap, attention step, that's our introduction. Our first main point, if you will, is our need step, where we're arguing that there is a problem and we need to do something about it. Next main point is satisfaction step. This is where we are talking about how we can satisfy the need, or we can solve the problem addressed in the need step. Visualization step is when we ask our audience to imagine what the world could look like after this problem has been solved. And then action step is our conclusion. We're going to wrap everything up. We're going to review our main ideas, restate our thesis, and we're going to end with an intriguing call to action. If you do those 5 steps, you will have completed Monroe's motivated sequence and will likely be well on your way to persuading your audience to do what you're asking them. Now, use it well. Bye, everybody.